We're live, guys.
Hello and welcome to Workbank ThinkTank. I'm Tanya, the Talent Development Officer of Workbank. Thank you for supporting our FB Live series by being here. Find out about what we do at Workbank by watching this video. Visit workbank.com for the precious jobs that are available out there. We are also offering free trainings and career tips. Wherever you are in your career, Workbank is here to support you every step of the way. But now please help me welcome my co-host for today as usual, Workbank's HR Manager, Christian Rodriguez.
All right, so hello Tanya and good afternoon to our viewers. Since it's the start of the year and people have the mindset of new year, new beginnings, it's not really surprising though that a lot of people are out there looking for better opportunities. Of course, we want to make a good first impression diba, on employers, and it takes recruiters an average of 7 seconds. Imagine 7 seconds lang to scan your resume and decide if you are worth calling for an initial interview. So those 7 seconds are crucial talaga. And your resume doesn't only have to be detailed about your accomplishments and skills, but it also has to look good. It has also it needs to be good. It needs to look good so it can draw the eye of the reviewer. So that's the reason why we enlisted the help of one of our valued partners, which is Canva, to give us tips on how to design great-looking resumes. And in addition to that, our resource speaker is also Canva Philippines Talent Acquisition Partner, meaning he reviews resumes every day. He will provide valuable insights on what recruiters really look for in a CV when they review. So let's say hello to Barry Mesa. Hi, Barry.
Oh, hello, Barry.
Hello, thank you team for having me here today, and thank you for inviting Canva to this wonderful opportunity and helping out your audience in making a great CV and eventually helping them land the dream job that they are having.
Oh, tama. Actually, very perfect yung timing ng nung discussion natin. Kasi nga, we all know naman, ang daming nawalan ng work. And itong mga tao na to, I'm pretty sure they're really looking for all the resources that they can, get for them to get that job offer talaga. Di ba, Tanya?
True. Which is why I think it's very helpful. We have Barry here to share with us some of the tips that he can give job seekers when it comes to creating resume. So we'll give you the floor, Barry. Go ahead with your presentation.
All right. I wanted to know, can you see, is it projecting now properly on your end?
Actually, it's still sharing, but now it's giving me that notice na it's sharing.
All right. And while the slides are loading, I'd like to greet magandang hapon sa lahat ng ating viewers. Throughout the course of our chat, I'll be doing a quick introduction of myself and about Canva. Then we'll go right into the details of how to create your CV great, and maybe some pro tip at the end of the chat. And we'll have a quick Q&A session, I think for 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the convo. So please feel free to probably type in any questions in the chat box. Then we have a community manager in Canva that will help you for any Canva questions. But for any recruitment related questions, I'll jump in right away as much as I can. All right, so let me retry that one. Hold on.
Okay, well, while waiting for Barry, no? Tanya, may question ako. Ayan na, wag na pala, later na lang. Ayan na, sakto.
Can you see my slide already?
Yes,
Ayan,
yes, it's there na. Let's save our chikahan again late for later.
yes,
Sure.
chika-chika na ako eh. Sige.
Okay, all right. So, yep, we're super excited. So let's jump in. A quick intro about me. My name is Barry Mesa. I'm Canva's talent acquisition partner. I've actually started my Canva journey just last year, 2020, in the middle of pandemic. So I jumped into Canva, and so far I'm having the best work of my life. For those of you who are interested joining Canva, I believe we have a couple of postings in Workbank. So visit their site and submit their applications, and let's see how we can work together. Um, More about me. I've been doing I've been doing recruitment in the last 9 years. So non-stop recruitment. I would say that 9 years I have facilitated hiring 2,000 plus talents. So you can imagine the number of CVs that I have seen throughout my career. And I hope today I'll be able to share some key insights, what worked well with those 2,000 plus hires, and share it to you. Right, about Canva. So for those who doesn't know about Canva, Canva is actually a design platform. You can go to canva.com. It's free. You can create an account. Then you can start designing everything, anything that you want. So pretty much you can also download it in iOS and in Android. Well, we are pretty much working in empowering the world to design. So our mission is to create a world where everyone, despite a limited design background, will be able to showcase their creative side, and that is by using Canva. We do live in yeah. So as an organization, our key values is being a good human, being a force for good, empowering others, setting up crazy big goals, pursuing excellence, and making complex things simple. So these are the things that we do believe as an organization. This guides us on how we decide and how we interact with each other in the world. So the plan is simple: for us to be the most valuable company and do the most good we can. I will share you some stuff that we have done throughout the course of pandemic. Our culture and values are the heart of what we do. All right. So with all these things happening, adjusting to a new normal, Canva actually started having its employee work at home before the lockdown announcement. We did a lot of keeping the vibe alive. So a lot of virtual activities. We did roll out great mental health support to our colleagues. A lot of flexibility. So that's our some stuff that we did, adjusting with the new normal, doing the most good that we can as the company responds to the pandemic. So, as our initiatives in helping out stopping the spread with the current situation, Canva created a lot of templates that you can actually post or print, and help out making sure that the community stays safe. You can access this just really by logging in Canva. We've even provided free Canva Pro account to LGUs and for non-profit organizations. You can just contact us if you're an LGU, if you need a free Canva Pro. Definitely we can help you out. Just contact us in our social media pages. So there are even localized templates that you can use. So aside from that, we have launched Canva for education, with all of us shifting to digital learning space. We help a lot of teachers creating best presentations, making sure that this presentation will catch the attention of our students and help them learn easier. All right. So now to the subject of the day, the job hunt. So why is it important that we design a good CV? Well, ultimately, the goal is to really, land a job or get your dream job. That's the ultimate point of having a great CV. So you have to think when creating a CV, what are the factors or what are the things that you need to put into consideration. So I will give you some idea on what are the things that a recruiter would check and how a recruiter or a talent partner think in terms of reading a certain CV. So competition is definitely much tougher. I actually did a quick Google of this morning and in terms of unemployment. So 2020 definitely is quite extreme. We have about 7 million unemployed Filipinos. So imagine 2019, 2018, it's really already hard to find a job. But with 2020 happening, you can imagine how hard the competition is right now. So with that being said, the more that you need to upgrade your CV and the more that you make sure that your CV stands out among the crowd. So most of the time, I get a lot of questions from, from friends, from relatives. Bakit ba hindi bakit ba hindi pinapansin yung application ko na kailang apply na ako, ang dami ko nang sinendan ng CV. Laging no response. Wala na akong narinig. So most of the time, the dream job is really so near yet so far. Parang ganun lagi ang peg. When I look at when I hear their stories, the first thing that I actually asked is patingin nga ng CV mo, and actually in less than 10 seconds I will already know this is why you're not getting calls because your CV is not really sending the right message. I'd like to share to you with that 9 years of experience, with that 2,000 plus hires, what something that I learned is really your CV is a walking reflection of your personality. A lot of things can actually be somehow your CV can indicate a lot of things. Sometimes you wouldn't really know that. So the recruiter pala had based the reason why I did not get a call from a certain company because my CV looks like this. My CV is not really interesting. So at the course of our, at the course of this presentation, I'll give you some insights on what we really look at and why your CV is not standing out or what can you do differently to make it happen for you. Well, aside from the fact that your CV is not standing out, you have to consider the avalanche of job seekers. So as mentioned, 2020 alone, we have 7 million unemployed Filipinos. So for every job posting, there definitely 1,000 or hundreds of applications that we receive. So just to give you some quick stats, for Canva Manila, we actually received 32,000 applications for 2020 alone. And you can imagine how many hires we made out of 32,000. So for those folks who want to probably play a bit of guessing game, please feel free to type your guess in the chat box. I'll probably give it in the count of five. One, two, three, four, five. So I'm not sure if any one of you guessed, but out of 32,000, we have hired 150, people. So you can
Okay.
imagine um, how many people we have rejected. So this 150 are the ultimate survivors of this 32,000 applications. And it all starts with having a good CV. That's how valuable it is. So take this obsession really seriously because this will really make a difference on how you move forward to the next step. Sometimes you may not land on the final process, but as you move ahead in certain process of the applications, your chances of success increase. So that's what is important here. Okay, the ultimate goal is getting your application notice. I think Christian shared an earlier estimate. How long will a recruiter read your CV? So there's this saying, first impressions last. And unfortunately, when reading CVs, most of the time, this saying is quite true. Uh, Actually, less than 10 seconds, a recruiter would already make a decision if your CV will be rejected, will be skipped. So that's how fast it is. So when you create your CV, you have to remember, if I would present my CV to someone and that person has to make a quick judgment in 10 seconds, how can I make it happen? So that's the that's the burning question that you have to answer. How to have someone you know accept your CV by looking at it in 10 seconds. Right. So let's jump in. So it all starts with having a strong opening or summary. Remember, you have only 10 seconds. It means that the recruiter would utilize, or whoever who is reviewing your CV will utilize the best, the most shortcut that he or she can do to have a conclusion on your CV. So most of the time, we just really look away if there is a summary section of your CV. A good summary section would highlight would highlight your, personal experience and actual experience. I think in the past years that I've been reading summary, I it's just really sad that there are those who would probably create description that I would say, I don't know, um they are using a lot of highfalutin words. They're using a lot of soft skills description, which I sometimes I would say over claiming from a recruiter standpoint. So some people would term it like this: I am a team player who was able to work with different types of people. I think there's nothing wrong with that, but sadly everyone can write that in their CV. So what you want to do in your CV is to put something that is unique to you and that will make you stand out. So in this case, if you would see the way the in summary was drafted or created, it's really giving them this is a new graduate. So I think the intent here is really to show how this person, what this person, how this person was active back then, way back in college, what organization she joined, and what she wants to as she proceed with her career. So this is a good concise summary about that person. Of course, if you are an experienced professional already, what you want to do is to make sure that your summary is on point. So say for example, you do have a 3-year experience in IT or in accounting. You want to put it right away. A 3 years experience in information technology, focusing on what technologies. So basically, you have to put it right there and there. That's a good summary. A good summary should be a summary. I have seen some summaries that would be half a page, 1 page. So it defeats the point of having a good summary. So you have to remember your summary. Again, you have less than 10 seconds. So if you can use your summary to have that impression, to have the judgment call that this is a good candidate, put it there. All right. So the next part is educational background. Well, it really this part of your CV depends on the situation. Of course, if you are a new graduate, likelihood is that what's on top of your CV is your educational background. So let's talk about for someone who's a fresh graduate, the expectation is you put key details of your educational background, where you did exactly graduate, what year, what course, stuff like that, and of course, it would be great under that details would be the immediate information that would help us differentiate you from other graduates of that school. So that can be your general weighted average, special citations, honors, and the organization you held in the leadership positions. So sometimes new graduates, all of them would, I would say, many would say that all new graduates is an equal footing, but the reality is recruiters would definitely look at who among these graduates can bring an additional value, and by merely looking at the CVs of these people, that would give you an idea who among these folks are can be really a good fit for the organization. I think I do have an example here. So example, this one, definitely this person flex his or her school, graduated cum laude with that outstanding general weighted average, best thesis award. Of course, I would say that this might be, a special case having this sort of this background, but it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be like this. So sometimes you get to put small things. I would say when I look at a new graduate CV, I put into consideration the organizations that this person has been part of, what role this person has handled in these organizations. Another interesting points that we usually look at would be for some, for some techie or nerdy roles, it's actually very interesting for some recruiters to look at the studies or the undergraduate thesis, what particular subject you have focused to, because that would give an insight, in terms of your interests on what area you have a good expertise, and that could probably, make you stand out among your classmates, among your peers. So that's one thing about educational background. But of course, if you are an experienced professional already, this part of the CV goes to the bottom part of the CV. It's not that, of course, as you gain experience, reality is the weight of your educational background lesson. We will more focus on your actual experience already. So, but again, still, there's no harm in making sure that you get to flex whatever you can when it comes to your educational background. All right. So, work experience, give details of your internship. And let's say, for example, if you're a new graduate, I'll get to the details of this, but just to put focus on this point. If you are a new graduate, give details of your internship, like what your key responsibilities were. Volunteer work and extracurricular activities are also valuable. So for new graduates, chances are you don't have anything to put in your CV. What you can really bank on is really your internship and other stuff. So most of the time, as a recruiter, I would look at the exposure of that intern, of that student during his or her internship days. So you have to, sometimes it gives a good idea, or this person can be probably easily trained into a certain process area if the internship has been focused on this and that. So you just have to really put details and make sure that details are straightforward and can help someone decide if you can be a good fit for the role that you're applying for. For the volunteer work and the extracurricular activities, you might be surprised that most of the time this is actually a very big game changer in terms of decision points in hiring a new graduate. I myself is a fan of hiring people who are very active in their extracurricular activities and doing a lot of volunteer work. Why? Because this is our actually indicator that you actually would love to go to more than what is expected of you, right? So having those extracurricular activities is actually already an indicator that you can be someone who will go extra mile. Volunteer work is definitely, in Canva, our core values is being a good human. So if we see that you're a fan of doing this, if you're a fan of delivering that, this is somehow an indicator that our values are aligned. So these are these are things that you could say that you think that there's not really a value on it when you write it in your CV, but chances are for a recruiter's eye or for someone who really look things in a bigger picture, this will make a difference. So put it all there, flex what you can flex, given that you are a new graduate. So do what you can. Right. So how about if, let's say, this one was designed for an intern, but work experience. So if you will look at the way the work experience has been crafted, it's very specific. This is not there's no use of jargons too much or general words. If you can actually see the actual tasks or the actual deliverables of this person during his or her work on the internship days. So this is a very good way of creating creating the description of her work. One of the mortal sins that I'd say as a recruiter, and I'm really sad when I see this one, is people just really copy pasting the job description to their CV. That please stop doing that. But anyway, what I'm saying is the reason why it lacks personalization. That's one. So basically, it looks like your CV is a running textbook, and you don't want to be a running textbook when, again, your CV is a reflection of your personality. If your CV is really a boring textbook, can you expect that someone will move forward from that, application? What you want to happen here is to make sure that your the what you do would, your CV would send the right message and would somehow flex what you experience. So for example, if this is a good draft on what the actual deliverables of this person as an HR intern, if you are a customer service, you can actually put down there that you were able to meet customer service scores. You can actually even put down or write down your actual scores in each metrics. I would say be specific with the details, include numbers as much as possible. So what's with the thinking? Why do recruiters would love to see numbers? The thought process is numbers is actually a measurable, quantifiable measure of success. That's the idea there. So if your CV is already sending a message that you were able to achieve these things, and these are solid things with evidence, chances are you're getting a call because they were impressed. But if your CV would just really describe that answer customer inquiries, stuff like that. So well, I don't know. You might get a call, but you will not be prioritized. If you want to step ahead of your game, you want it again. The goal is to be differentiated and for you to stand out among the crowd, and that would happen by really showing them what you can do, what you have done exactly already, and what you can deliver, right? And what you have delivered already. And that would be putting down details, numbers as much as necessary. I think what has been helpful as well is just really putting a story on your job description. Think if the way you can probably think it like this. If you want to be promoted, if you are an experienced employee already, if you want to be promoted, what will you write or what will you say to your boss? Translate that to your CV. That's a quick tip from me, because chances are you would highlight the things that made you stand out from your peers, and that would that will make you promotable. So have that thinking that if I want to be promoted, what are the things that I will flex in my role right now that can be a good evidence of someone who's really a good hire. So those are some key things. You can also probably think of like telling a good story of your journey. So sometimes people would, good CVs that I have experienced in the past would talk about um, just really I have worked with several process a business business units or different teams across the company. I have bring together a group of people. That's fine, because that would tell, the description itself would tell a story how this person collaborated among the teams. Again, it's really up to you, so long as the description would really flex what you have delivered, what you have done. And again, please avoid just copy paste, because chances are you will not stand out among the crowd. Right, skills and accomplishments. So you can list your skills with your work history or put it in a separate section. You can use bullets or divide it into different sections, such as technical and soft skills, so it's easy to scan. So this is one way of doing it, right? So pretty much so there are so many ways to probably have your skills. Well, this actually, I would say that this is the best way. Just really putting a section wherein your specific technical skill set is bulleted. The reason why is really this. Chances are, if you're applying for big organizations, these organizations are using an automated tracking system. And when we actually type in to our databases, to our search bars, we actually use keywords. And if you were able to group your technical skill set and there is a keyword match, chances are we will view your CV. So it's also important that is why it's really important that you have a skill set. Of course, there would be individual review of your CV, but chances are when we retrieve your CV, we just really we look at some keyword and how that keyword appear to your CV. So I guess it would be really best to create that section wherein you all have those skill sets. So there is an easy match of of keywords that would surface your CV for a recruiter review. Soft skills, it's not bad to probably put that good stress management skills, team player. I, I don't have any qualms with that, but you have to remember that everyone can write that in their CV. So if everyone can write that and can claim that, what value it has to do with your CV. So I suggest instead of really probably writing it directly that you are a team player, why don't you just probably put a section on your achievements on the description that I was able I was able to work in a project with a different team, stuff like that, and put the specifics of what you did with this team. So that in itself is a solid evidence of what you did exactly, instead of just really putting it directly that you are a team player, because again, everyone can claim that. There's So that's just really, that's a personal viewpoint for me as a recruiter. So there. All right, so this one, please don't do this. This might be an eye candy. Definitely it's catching to do this stuff. Well, when you look at the CV, wow, it's really great. But for someone who has less than 10 seconds to review your CV, if they were to figure out your skills by really interpreting the graphics of your CV, chances are your success is getting down. Um, and again, you have to remember, if most companies are using an automated tracking system. So what they do most of the time is, let's say, when we go back to previous applications or to applications, and when we try to type in keywords, and if your skill set is in a graphical representation, it will not be read by the system, and your CV will not be surfaced to the recruiter. So it will not be seen. So that's the drawback of of this kind of presentation. This is, from a presentation standpoint, it's actually a good thing, but the thing is, this doesn't really this it's not functionally feasible for on how recruiters review the CV. Right, to cap it off, what recruiters want to see. So first is reverse chronological order. So you always start with the most recent experience. So of course, if you don't have a work experience yet, you just go straight forward with your educational background and academic history. Relevant information that relates to the job. So yeah, so again, as mentioned, make sure that don't copy paste the job description. Try to craft it. Think what you can write that would probably make your current boss or your former boss promote you, and write it in there. Quantifiable results and accomplishments. So relating back to the second bullet, um, it would be great to really see what you have delivered in the past, because there is this concept of past behavior predicts future action in recruitment. So just sharing to you that one. If you actually see that you were able to deliver some evidence, quantifiable numbers, chances are we will reach out to you. So again, numbers, and be specific. So these are the things that will make your CV differentiated, not too cram. So yeah, so definitely it would be great to have a CV that can be easily screened. Sometimes too cram would mean that we just have to really look at carefully just to figure out what is this and that, and that would mean spending more than 10 seconds in your CV, and chances are we will skip that. So make sure that your CV is easily reviewable and easily screened. So again, you have 10 seconds. Put that in mind. How if someone will review my CV in 10 seconds, what sort of message or what sort of highlight I would like this person to see tailored to the role. So um, there are a lot of candidates that would somehow make sure that their CV speak the language of the company that they are applying for. So what does it mean? Sometimes, of course, when you apply, chances are nag-apply galore ka. Submit ka lang ng submit. But if you want to be targeted, if you want to be really differentiated, you can actually create, a CV that is tailored to the role. Probably a quick share. I'm also leading recruiting our, let's say, our digital marketing folks here in Canva. I have seen applicants who actually created a personalized Instagram account for their application in Canva alone. So that's how witty they are. Um, Pretty much when you tailor your application to the role, it actually speaks to the level of your interest in that company. It actually speaks to your capability. And sometimes, given that you tailor fit it to the role, that there is an easier mix and match there. Chances are you will get a call for the next steps. So that's one key tip there. What we don't want to see: grammatical spelling errors. Well, this is really I wouldn't say mortal sin, but when we see a lot of grammatical spelling errors, not to, but I would say, if you were to, this is already an indicator of, sadly, of your attention to details, right? So for example, if the role that you're applying for would mean that you have to write a lot of things, you have to organize a lot of things. If your CV itself is not reflecting accuracy, is not reflecting some sort of organization. Again, your CV is a reflection of your capability. So it sends the wrong message. So you make sure that you double check your CV. um, I'd say that the best practice really is, if you can, print your CV and actually read it line by line. So because when you look at it in the screen, chances are you will miss some stuff. But so I do recommend print your CV. Plenty cover letters and career summaries. So cover letters is not common in the Philippines or in Manila market, to be specific. So I will not, we can skip it totally. And I recommend to go away from cover letters for usual application, unless there is a requirement for cover letters, because I know some companies would really love to see a cover letter. But again, you have 10 seconds, we don't have time to read cover letters. That's the reality of the matter. So career summaries, again, make it a summary really. So 3 bullets, or if it's a paragraph, 4 sentence, that would do. Long unclear description. So going back to the point, do not copy paste on the job description. Be specific. Talk about what you did exactly, what you delivered. Put numbers there if you have to. That will make a difference. Personal information. So this one is really a great scene of many Filipino talents. I think we're yet to really move forward from a thinking that your photo, your height, your weight doesn't really matter in applying for most jobs. So, and sometimes I myself is really I personally, I really skip a lot of CVs if I see that the opening part of their CV is their height and weight. Again, I do have 10 seconds. Why would I spend it in the opening part to your height and weight? So remove this part entirely unless there is a requirement for you to submit it, because the role, require, details on this matter. Which is, this, I would assume these roles are very specific. But this doesn't really contribute to any decision making process, so that's the point of really removing them. And you don't want to be really judged with these factors, right? So yeah, 3 quick tips on. All right, so some of the roles would actually, most of, let's say, marketing roles, design roles, it would mean that you have to prepare a folio of your work. as an evidence of your capability. So aside from the CV, I will, we will extend this session on how to make sure that your design folio is, great. First is make sure that that is updated and relevant to the role. I have seen a lot of folio. As you know, Canva is a design company, so we hire a lot of designers. We hire a lot of, digital marketing folks and, copywriters. I have seen a lot of folio. Sometimes someone who has worked for 10 years already would have a link of their work way back in college. I just don't I think it would be not it didn't really add any value. So really make sure that you just really put there what you think is relevant, and chances are your work 10 years ago may not be trendy already at this point, so there's no value on that. Please make sure that the folio link is easy. All right, so this is also another great scene. If you attach a folio, make sure that it's viewable and it's accessible. So there are a lot of links there that when you click them, it's not working or the site already expired. So chances are we will skip. Your application will be skipped because there might be chances that we can go back to you at the latter part of the process. But of course, that will only happen once we have cleared already, because we just have to really move forward. So and you don't want to be skipped because the link that you attach is broken, is it's not working. So make sure you double check that. And when you go to to this folio, make sure that they are presented properly, and they're not cluttered. Again, what your folio is a reflection of your work, so the way this is presented reflects on how an organization could probably decide on how to move forward with your application. Quality over quantity is what matters most to recruiters. So we don't need like 100 set of work if it really doesn't relates to what we're looking for. Make sure that you have reasonable numbers of sample of work. Sometimes it's too few for us to make a decision, so we'll decide not to move forward. It's too many, and well, I would say that probably maintain healthy number that can be a good basis of your work. So there. All right, so I do have a definitely a pro tip here, which is to check out Canva templates. Hold on, let me. I hope, can you see my screen here? I'm actually hovering in Canva. One of the best things that you can do in Canva is really that CV templates. Again, Canva is free. Go to canva.com, create an account. You can sign in via Google. So definitely it's really easy. And you go to templates. You go to templates. You actually just type CV, and yeah, there you go. So you would actually see a bunch of templates there. So of course, this the reason why these are designed, these templates are designed for various roles or various purposes. If you want to probably put into focus to a certain role, so for example, you are applying for more corporate roles, so definitely it will we have that we have that sort of templates. So you can use this. The good thing about this is most of the time, the way the CV has been created, the sections are already organized. What you need to fill in is just really the contents, but it's basically it's there already. You don't need to really to think about the layout, the design. So that is being covered already. You can really focus on the actual content of your CV. So get to create an account, use this. So there are definitely many types of templates here. So for example, you want a creative photo, or a creative CV. So there are also samples creative CVs here. Again, your CV is a reflection of you. So if you've actually used these templates, definitely it would show that you're creative, hopefully. But yeah, so that's the idea. So go check it out, and definitely you can use that one. Right. So going back to the presentation, well, For those of you who are interested, just to probably share with you about our design team, I'll give you a quick video. Oh my, what happened? Oh shoot. Hold on. Hold on.
While we're waiting, no, in fairness, nakita ko yung mga Canva templates ni Barry kanina. Favorite ko talaga yung mga template ng Canva. Like, siguro mga nakatatlong CV lang nagawa ko doon. Not for me, but for other people. Very easy to use.
Actually, yun ang problema ng mga ano ngayon eh, mga naghahanap din ng work. Kasi yung iba, I mean, ako rin, marami na rin akong nakita ng mga, alam na, resumes, na yung iba sobrang old school, yung iba parang kulang na lang magsama ng folder kasi ang kakapal ng mga resume. So it's really a big help for them, itong Canva.
All right. So there you go. Okay. Yeah, so we also do internship here in Canva. So please feel free to check out with me. Well, do the job you love here at the best place to work, certified 2020 and 2021. So thank you for listening and drop me a line at barry@canva.com. So yeah, happy to hear your questions if there are.
Oh, may question ako, Sir Barry. Ayun.
Sure.
Kasi nag-uusapan, syempre, resume. So I've been part of the HR industry din naman for a very long time na. And I've seen a lot of resumes na. And medyo wala akong masyadong nakikita ganitong klase ng resume eh. Na, so my question is it okay to put a summary or introduction dun sa resume niya na medyo comedic yung dating, lalo na sa, you know, sa introduction, like they want to inject funny stories about their work experiences?
I would say, yeah, definitely. Again, the goal is to make your CV stand out. So what you can do differently. So what we have walked through, I would say would be, the key, the general tips. But if you really want to stand out, the idea is you go ahead and make something different. So for example, instead of creating a summary, you can probably replace that. Why am I the right person for your company? So put a writing on that. Yeah. So on that point, that putting a comedic summary, yeah, I think it actually sends a message that this person is humorous, is fun to work with. So and that is somehow a unique identifier of this person. If you think the role would benefit with that kind of messaging, so I think that would definitely be a great way of doing it.
All
Okay?
right. Okay,
Oo nga
okay,
naman.
ayos.
Ako actually may question din ako, Barry,
Sure.
if you can also help me out with this one. I'm actually doing trainings then for CV writing, and this is something that's usually asked by the people na umaattend ng mga training. Kasi I'm promoting Canva to them. I tell them na, we have a partnership with Canva. You can use these templates. These are beautiful templates. But the question lagi is, it's generally accepted ba to use creative CVs now when applying to jobs, or kailangan ba nilang mag-prepare pa rin nung traditional looking CV for traditional companies, for example?
I think it boils down to tailor fitting your application to a certain company. So that's why, that's the beauty of the templates. So you don't really need to do a lot of hard work every time that you want to probably or some rebrand, your CV.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk about, is it good to use the CV? Yes. The benefits of this, templates, it's really, again, most of the time they do have, they are very concise. If you would see them, most of them are one pager, because these templates are designed to make sure that your CV definitely easy to read and easy to review. So
Mm-hmm.
you can actually just follow the structure and put your actual content in there. So sometimes, of course, some CV designs or templates would not fly to a certain company. So think about applying for a bank and applying
Mm-hmm.
for a creative company. So
Right.
definitely a bank would really give not weight to any colorful part of it, and it would be a straightforward, black and white, CV. Well, it depends on the role that you're applying for the bank, but I guess if you have to speak with the language of that company that you're applying for, and that starts by sending the right message through the use of a good CV design.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that works. Um, Actually, one more thing that I'm also wanting to ask. Maybe just a tip lang, if you can give us a tip kasi you've been doing recruitment for quite some time then. Um, and a lot of people are worried about writing CVs, especially if they have employment gaps or kung kumbaga iba-iba yung pinanggalingan yung industry na parang there's no
Mm-hmm.
particular career path and they feel na writing it on their CV it's not going to help them out with their application. So
Mm-hmm.
anong tip mo sa mga ganun?
Well, for me, for Canva and for me as well, we don't really put, it boils down to how this company view employment gap. But chance, I think definitely there's nothing wrong with having employment gap, and we all have our life story to deal with. I guess sometimes probably what would help is really just put some notes what kept them busy on that employment gap, if they have learned something, if they have attended some sessions, or even maybe quick learning sessions, put it there. It would somehow indicate that even if you're not employed at this point, it doesn't mean that the learning stops. So I guess what
Mm,
that's really what matters most of the time. Making sure that, of course, when someone hire you, most of the fear of really hiring someone who has a gap is that they have to be retrained again. They become a bit rusty. These are the realities of why some employers are holding back in hiring someone who has a gap. So your goal here is to make sure that you put emphasis that yeah, I might have stopped working for a year or two, but I've been actually continuously maybe completing some certifications, some online courses out
mhm.
there. So just to make sure that you are on top of your game, even you're not actively working. So those are the things that you can do.
Okay.
Meron akong question. I'm not sure though if this is a valid question. Pero I guess this question, I'll ask this on behalf of those people na hindi masyadong techie, lalo na yung mga, uh, alam mo na. Okay, so yung question ko kasi, like 2 days ago, I was sorting through 400 resumes, no?
Mhm.
And ang dami ko nakitang resumes doon na parang I was using, by the way, an Apple device. So
Mhm.
yung mga resume nila, ang nangyari, nag-jumble-jumble. There was even one na wala yung picture, tapos alam mo yun, as in parang nasira yung pag
Right.
out. So my
Right.
question is, what document file or what file type kaya yung masasuggest mo na
Right.
gamit mga job seekers natin
Right.
para, alam mo na,
Right. Yeah. So I think that's a very good point, Christian. Thank you for surfacing that. Um, I would always say that PDF is the best version because it cannot move. But the thing is, just make sure that when you convert a file to a PDF, most of the time I've seen a lot of PDF files that they were not converted properly. So chances are they were just converted, they were saved, but the owners did not check if it was converted properly. So PDF is the best way to go because it cannot be edited anymore unless kailangan talaga siyang i-convert pa nila yon sa ibang format. So PDF is the best way to go. Just make sure that you have QA the PDF file itself. That sometimes kasi when you go to PDF, there would be some lines will be pushed back, some buttons will not be really converted to an actual format. So you make sure you double check that. But I myself, I would recommend PDF is the best way to go. Just convert it to that PDF file, and that should be all good. Please, I have seen a lot of folks who have attached a CV which is a JPEG, something like that. I actually please don't do that. The reason why, again, if you look at the how and a tracking system work, if your resume cannot, if the text of your resume cannot be read, the search engine cannot see that, and your resume will not be surfaced or will not be part of the CV matching process. So don't send an image of your CV in an don't send a CV in an image format. Make sure that it's always text format. That's the best way of doing it.
All right, thank you very much, Sir Barry. O kasi nga, like 2 days ago, nakwento ko nga, ang dami ko na-receive na resume pero siguro half nun parang nasira yung pagkaka-layout. So sayang, di ba? Sayang yung effort nila. And one thing din, syempre pag nagpasa ka ng Microsoft Word, especially if it's editable, di ba? Mahirap na, baka mamaya magamit pa yung ano. So, yun lang.
Yeah, yeah. I actually the Microsoft Word itself. Sorry, the Word itself. It's okay if it's in a Word file, but yeah, I think we need to stick to the PDF because sometimes different companies have different software. So PDF is like the safest one to go.
Correct.
True. Yeah. Well, actually kasi nga kapag hindi compatible yung Microsoft na versions nyo, for example, hindi na mababasa yung ibang formatting o medyo mahirap, no? But
Right.
yeah.
That's why I really suggest to use Canva. So, you don't need to worry about it. Just
Yes.
really, find the best template for you and, fill it on there. So you have a lot of templates already. Use it. You can choose, if you're applying for a corporate work, for a creative work, just choose what template would speak to this employer and boom, there you go.
I'm sure papatok yung Canva na yan sa mga yung mga bagong job seekers, lalo ng mga fresh graduate. Kasi nga, syempre, imagine nung time namin ni Tanya, time natin siguro, no, hindi ako sure. Pero napakahirap gumawa ng resume. I mean, hirap maghanap ng template. Unlike now, nandiyan na yung Canva, pupunta ka na lang, di ba, sa website, tapos, just really need to edit everything there and use their own template. And that's it. Just send away.
Yeah, and it's free. It's free. You can just really create an account.
Free pa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Free pa pala. Hindi ko alam.
Kaya favorite ko talaga yung Canva eh. Gumawa na ako ng mga resume dyan. Not for me, kasi nga may mga friends ako na they need help in formatting their CV. So ako naman parang, don't worry, I got that covered. Canva tayo. Pagdating sa kanila, parang agad-agad professional. Hindi nila alam. Kinopya ko lang yung mga templates na ni Canva.
Power of templates, I can imagine.
True.
So, Canva is heart naman pala no? Yun naman pala. Kaya palang patok na patok ang Canva ngayon. Well, tulad niya sabi namin, no, marami talagang gagamit niyan for sure dahil ang hirap gumawa ng resume. My God. Yan ang gagamitin ko pag nag-apply ako sa iba. De joke. Joke lang.
Okay, but I think we don't have any questions from our audience. Mukhang satisfied naman sila and very informative naman yung discussion mo, Barry. Very straightforward, and so we didn't really get a lot of questions. But we would like to thank you, Stel, for joining us today and for sharing your tips. For sure, this is going to be helpful not just dun sa mga bagong naghahanap ng trabaho, but those who are transitioning, yung mga maghahanap ulit after what happened last year. And hopefully they get to enjoy Canva like we do, like we enjoy it ourselves then. So thank you again for joining us. Before we say goodbye, I just like to mention to our viewers that if you would like to rewatch this episode or all the other episodes that we've done in the past, you can go to our Facebook page to review or to rewatch them. You can rewatch them anytime or even share it with people who you think might be interested or who will or kumbaga magbe-benefit dun sa discussion. I'd also like to promote some of the trainings that we have upcoming in the next couple of weekends. We have trainings happening tomorrow and the rest of the other weekend on up until February. I think our calendar is already up on our website. So please do visit workbank.com/trainings to register and to sign up. But I guess that's it. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us today. And we hope to see you in the next couple of weeks for the next episode of Workbank ThinkTank. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.